to the Deucecast Extra. We are back again on a Tuesday night, somehow doing episodes that have nothing to do with a Marvel or a Star Wars show or a Yellowstone show. We're filling time here, but I think appropriately with light and magic. It was a 6-part series that debuted on Disney Plus a couple Wednesdays ago. It's been out a couple weeks now, right? That was just fantastic. Just really, really loved it. But we'll get into all that. Garrison, welcome. How has your week been since last Tuesday?
It's been interesting. It's not been bad. It's not been great. You know, it's okay.
Okay,
I'm not really doing much right now. I'm like kind of trying to coast to the semester and trying to watch some movies, but also trying to get some work done. I got to work tomorrow for sure. So.
Yeah, no, Brian. That's why we're doing. Yeah, this was.
Yeah, I was gonna interject and be like, this is kind of a a Star Wars show.
Yeah,
I mean, for Star Wars.
ILM does everything,
and also a little bit of Marvel now. So
yeah, oh yeah, they do everything. Jacob, what's up, buddy? How's it going in Wyoming?
Just wonderful. Back from Kansas this weekend, where I was spending some time in some 106-degree weather, and all dressed fancy like. Yeah,
yikes!
But I love it. I like the heat. Way better than the cold. I live in the wrong state.
See, I don't know. I like the cold a lot because I miss it. I mean,
yeah, come spend 7 years in Laramie and then let me know, and then I'll spend 7 years in Alabama.
I definitely prefer the cold to the heat, because here's let me give you my philosophy, gentlemen. Okay. But the cold, I can put on some layers, and I can put on some layers, and I can put on some layers. With the heat, the layers stop eventually. You feel me?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
But yeah.
There is a temperature that it gets to where you can keep putting on layers and it's not going to do anything.
Right.
And when the wind's blowing 70 miles an hour and it's -20 Fahrenheit and -50 wind chill, and you have to walk to your class in college, and they didn't cancel school. It's not fun.
It's not fun. Yeah.
But then I go in my house with my fire and my air conditioning. You know, come on.
That's true.
See, I like the sweat. It makes me feel like I'm losing weight while doing nothing.
because I think I forgot to talk about it on the last episode of the Deucecast that we recorded, which is coming out tomorrow. I did go to the rodeo on Saturday.
Oh.
So this was probably only my second rodeo in my life. I went when I was a kid in Texas. So this was an interesting experience. I'll say that. It was in a really small town. I don't need to say the name of the town because it doesn't matter, because you won't know it anyways. But it was in a really small town. It had just rained really badly, probably about 3 hours before the event was to start. And so in Alabama, we have red clay. That's pretty much the type of like dirt in certain parts of Alabama that you'll find. And so this red clay was soupy. It was soupy red clay. This was this was not an indoor arena. This was an outdoor arena with some like bleachers set up on the side. So it's a small event. Professional Cowboy Association or something was putting this on, which I found out was a pretty big, thing in the Southeast. Pretty big deal. They were spouting off points and numbers and like, you get 75 points for this, and that goes towards. And so, I mean, it was kind of legit. They were keeping track of it. I don't understand what any of it meant, but they were keeping track of all the points. And they were talking about how some people had just come up from juniors and this was their first event. And we didn't stay the whole time because this thing would have been till like 10 o'clock. So we had to drive 45 minutes to get there anyways. And so we just didn't want to stay the whole time. So we got to see, we got there early enough to see the mutton busting.
Okay, mutton busting's
the little kids.
Yeah, mutton busting's awesome.
Dude, and there was as young as a 2-year-old doing this mutton busting.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry, busting. You have to say it that way.
Yes. You can't be too old for it or else, like...
No, you can't. Yeah,
the sheep will be injured.
Yeah. So that was really fun. And then we got to see, like, regular, what I would call, like, on a horse and trying to stay on for 8 seconds type thing. But
so the saddle bronc and bareback probably.
Well, this was saddle. There was not a bareback.
Bronc, yep.
Yeah, so there was that. We got to see some roping.
Probably tie down.
Tie down.
Any women rope?
So the women did non tie down stuff though.
That
this
would
was
be
just
breakaway
speed.
roping. Yep.
Yeah, breakaway. Yeah.
So
We did that. Yeah.
For the roping events, women participate in breakaway roping, which is where they rope the cow or the calf, and then they stop with the horse and the rope breaks away. They also can participate in, oh my gosh, I was sounding so smart. Team roping.
No, we didn't see that.
Okay, so that's where you've got a header and a heeler. Header gets around the horns. Heeler has to get the back 2 legs. If they don't get the back 2 legs and they only get 1, it's an added 5 seconds. If they don't get anything, it's no time.
Yeah. There was a lot of that. And so the events that we didn't stay for, well, first of all, I didn't know that there wasn't going to be bull riding. I guess that's a different type of thing.
Sometimes. So like the PRCA, which is the biggest rodeo association, that's what like the NFR is, Shanghai Frontier Days, they have bull riding at the end of the event. But there is also a PBR, which is professional bull riding.
Yes, that's right. Yep. That's right. So yeah, we didn't stay for there was 3 more events. The only one I can remember off the top of my head that we didn't stay and see was barrel racing.
Okay.
Which in the red clay, the way this clay looked would have been tough, but I'm sure they would have pulled it off. There was intermission between each event, so we got to see the first intermission was the kids trying to tag a little cow. Okay. So they're still trying to get the ribbon off the tail. The second event was some trick stuff. This girl
trick roping,
doing all kinds of trick stuff and trick riding, tricks on the horse, standing on the horse, that type of thing. The third one, which I was afraid somebody was going to get mauled, they didn't have a full grown bull, but they had like a young bull. I don't know what you call it. And the adults, like 18 and up, were trying to get the ribbon off of this thing, the tail. There was somebody.
A steer.
Yeah, it was a steer. There was somebody that got real close to getting mauled. And yeah, it was freaky. But apparently that's normal. So whatever.
Yeah.
So anyways, let's let us. Oh, as you can see, Dr. Earl unfortunately is not going to be able to make it this evening. I did tell him to join if he was able to make it, but I don't. He's got meetings at the church, as he always does on Tuesdays. And so, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to make it this evening. But we do have a fan favorite here who, as always, wants to make an entrance. So he shows up a little bit late. So I have to bring him in this way instead of having him just start at the beginning like a normal human being. But yes, we have Rhett Effects.
Rhett, you only missed rodeo talk, so it's okay.
I know. I was listening to it on the YouTube, and I waited till it died down before I joined.
You didn't want to talk about the rodeo?
Yeah. How did Jimmy do?
He fell off and broke his back again.
Yeah.
We knew that would happen. How are the buckle bunnies?
Yes, Red is here. The hurricane has arrived.
I'm just waiting for Red's friend to show up in the chat.
Oh, what was that guy's name?
Log into your burner account, Rhett.
Frosty something, right?
Frosty, Mr. Frosty.
Mr. Frosty. That's right. Yeah, that guy.
That you're here, he might show up.
Well, maybe I'm his bat signal.
Yeah, exactly. So let's dive.
Wait. Why did everybody phone in your names? Here, I had to dig through this stupid documentary to find a cool name, and that's the best I could do.
Into Rhett. Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't even.
I thought about a hot dog input device, but I didn't like the connotation that carried with it.
Yeah, I'm sure. So let's dive in. I mean, this was a fantastic thing. Rhett, did you get to finish it? Did you watch it all? Okay. I knew you were trying to play catch up today, so I didn't know if you had a chance to finish.
Yeah, I watched it.
So the way they did this kind of just standard interview documentary style. So they're just interviewing everyone. But we did get to see, Fatmatic says run for the hills. He's scared of Rhett. Man.
No, it's a documentary. How outrageous can things get?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, Rhett.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm sure. I did like the way, well, first let's say that Lawrence Kasdan was the director of all these episodes and the interviewer.
I don't know that this thing happens as well as it does without Kasdan.
Yeah, I don't, because there's a couple people that I don't think would have even bothered to be on it.
I agree.
Dykstra especially. Yeah, if Kasdan hasn't asked, but he tried to do it sort of like in a storytelling device, like he named each episode a specific thing,
like
leading to like a quote. So the first episode was called "Gang of Outsiders," which was a very early days onset of ILM.
I thought that was the best episode. I thought that was the one I got the most out of.
Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah.
See, I knew most of that stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know a lot of that. I mean, I didn't know their backgrounds and the flute playing and some of the bizarro, just the eclectic lives that these guys had.
Yes.
I found really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like the only guy that was kind of already doing special effects before he was brought in was Dennis Muren. He kind of like had done something, he'd done a student film and was
out of his house.
Out of his house, but I think he had done one other thing. Him and Lauren Peterson seemed like they were the guys that maybe had some background before coming in. And what's the other guy? Phil Tippett, of course.
I was going to say Tippett definitely did.
Yeah, Tippett for sure did. In fact, there's he's got his own documentary out there about which I want to watch.
I bet that's good.
Yeah,
is it the Vice one?
No, it's not the Vice one. I think he's got
who is on the Vice one?
Well, I mean, are you talking about
a lot of them? And Marshall
Lucas.
No, there's a who is the real nervous one that talked about depression a lot?
That's Phil Tippett.
That's Phil Tippett.
That is Phil Tippett.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's a Vice one on him. That's good.
Oh, okay. Just one episode of that series.
I think so.
I
think it's pretty old.
Well, this is brand new. This is
a brand new documentary. Yeah.
Vice is doing a brand new one right now with Marsha and a bunch of talking.
Yeah, they've got one from 2015 called "My Life in Monsters." Meet the animator behind Star Wars. It's good. It's on YouTube
I thought he had a more recent one from last year. I think he had a more. Anyways, we're getting in the weeds there.
Well, this is good TV right here.
I do want to say that I don't believe a word that Marshall Lucas is saying. I know everybody is chomping at the bits. Chomping at the bits of all this juicy stuff that Marshall Lucas is saying on this Vice thing, but I don't believe a word.
I haven't heard a single thing she said, so I guess I'm okay.
She saved Star Wars.
She basically says she saved Star Wars.
Well,
I've heard that for years. I mean, I don't think that's a revelation.
Yeah, I mean, I think partial credit should be given to Marsha, George, and Phil, and Paul Hirsch, all of them in the editing room.
Yeah, I mean, I've considered it pretty common knowledge that they had to rein Lucas in, that the Star Wars was a disaster. Yeah, and they had to whittle it down to what we got out of. For A New Hope.
Yeah, I mean, they touch on that in this documentary when Spielberg and De Paula and
like you can't like
Scorsese all sat down and watched it.
You got a female protagonist, which that nobody's ever going to go for that. You had Lizard, Han Solo, all this nonsense. You got Mace Windy. Come on.
Mace Windy.
Come on. Early appearance of Utapau and like he was way in the weeds on that stuff.
Oh yeah. That first script and those first few scripts were just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian's right. I mean, Spielberg. Yeah, I mean, his comments were pretty telling about some.
He was the only one in the room who loved the rough version of
it.
And you could see through the roughness.
Who could see like
I kind of took that.
Something was there. Yeah, the potential.
I've heard a lot of stories from Hirsch and De Palma on different podcasts about that meeting with Lucas and how De Palma was kind of a jerk.
Oh yeah, got close to walking out multiple times, and
he also rewrote The Crawl. De Palma did. I don't even know if they mentioned that on the.
Oh, they did not.
They didn't say that, but
I think they mentioned that in the Spielberg documentary. If you've ever seen that one's a really good documentary too on HBO Max.
Yeah, that was good.
That one, Empire of Dreams, and this one are like 3 must watches for any big fan of these movies from the 70s and 80s.
If you're a guy that's like Rhett and I's age, we like ILM was always just like the coolest thing ever. Like I remember that book from the 80s that was like ILM, the art of special effects, and it had like a picture of just cool looking. It was a hardcover book. I think back in the day it was like $100. I mean, you can get a reprinted copy now for like $30, but I mean, and then that logo, the Magician's Hat logo, I distinctly remember that from the 80s. I mean, and just being so like in awe of the idea of that special effects.
We had that book in our library in elementary school. So I.
Oh, really? The art of special effects? That's awesome. That's very cool.
Brian Ben is in this, but it's very late in the series.
Yeah, Ben Burt sort of just gets like thrown in.
It's like episode 5, and you're like, oh, there you are.
Yeah, well, the main reason for that is because he was in a different company, right? Yeah. Skywalker Sound and Light and Magic were not technically the same company.
Yeah, I mean, but
he came in to do the sound, but he ended up getting wrapped up in editing and some of that other stuff. Yeah. So he became a bigger player than he was in those early days. But I mean, there's no substitute for taking your microphone up to a telephone pole guide wire and thumping it and changing the world,
Yeah. He is my favorite part of like the behind the scenes stuff of Star Wars.
I've always enjoyed it. I enjoyed it back in the Phantom Menace days. Some of the documentaries that came out after it where you just see Ben Burt with this expression on his face, like he can't believe that he has to endure George Lucas the way he is. Like he's just so defeated by, all the nonsense that he had to put up with. And then he still manages to piece something workable together, But that's the sense that I always got from him, is that he was just like, oh God, here again,
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that I loved in this, all 6 episodes with anything with McQuarrie, because you don't have many documentaries out there with him talking about it. Like hearing his voice, like talking about, the experience, and that guy that he worked with that was from Disney, whose dad was like super. Harrison Ellenshaw. Yeah,
Peter Ellenshaw.
Harrison, and then Peter
was the dad, right?
Yeah.
I love the bit about he's like, man, McQuarrie could not draw clouds.
Oh yeah, that was great. Like, this guy you've all deified sucked at the clouds.
Yeah, he's like, and I did not know how to tell him it, so I was like, it's too hard to draw him.
Let me take some of that workload from you.
Why don't you let him draw the clouds?
Oh man! And
I thought that was a good part.
The matte painting stuff was awesome.
There were some of the matte paintings that it revealed that I had no idea were matte paintings. I guess intellectually I understood that that wasn't real, but I never pieced it together and saw the matte painting and what elements were and were not. I thought that was really interesting too.
And on home video releases now of the films, they've done a really good job of taking out the matte paintings. But if you were to see it at the time on theatrical prints, you can they're much more present in the film.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, You could even, and just that one part where they were trying to figure out how to take that little black part away from the X-wings for the matte.
Yeah,
I mean,
the matte lines.
The matte lines, all that.
Well, and they didn't do it. So cool. Some of that's a little bit revisionist history. If you go back and look at those, there were some. I mean, there's a lot of bleed through, and it looks terrible. The matte lines were terrible, but it's better now. Which are, we've got this recency bias of seeing it on home video all these years, and it's so much better.
It's the only version we can watch.
Right, great. Yeah. They'll never let you see that again.
Yeah.
But I remember a lot of bleed through, even on the snow speeders that they really talked up. There was bleed through. They were some of the bars of the canopy were transparent, and back in the day.
The interesting thing is that throughout this whole documentary, when they're showing footage from Star Wars and talking about the old special effects, they've got scans of the old stuff that's not from any of the fan sources out there. I know that because I've confirmed with some of those guys.
Must be nice.
Scoop.
Drop a name there.
Wait.
No, I mean, it's public.
Scoop.
Hang on. We got it. Yep. We got it.
That's a scoop.
This is ILM quality. Quality scoop.
Somebody get this on Twitter. Hang on, I gotta break this on Twitter.
Harmy thought it was Team Negative One's print, but it wasn't. And anyway, we'll get past that now.
Now that we've mocked him enough, he's like, let's move on.
No, but hey, look,
it's their own print. It's their own internal prints, which means that this stuff is on archive.
It exists.
Somewhere.
It exists,
and they'll never let us have it.
It's just George that doesn't want to let it out.
Yeah, it'll take him dying before like any of that stuff is released, unless he puts it in his will that they're not allowed to release it ever. But
I could see him doing it.
I don't know if that would matter.
Keep the McClunky
I'm not sure legally he has a whole lot to say about it.
The McClunky cut.
It depends on what's in the Lucasfilm.
Yeah, it's whatever the purchase agreement said.
Yeah,
this is true. This is very true. one point I do want to make, as far as like accessibility, these guys have been doing the con circuit forever. I remember when I was going to like Celebration 2 or 3, that some of the best panels were with all of these guys on there. And they would answer they will answer any question about anything. They're pretty much like an open book about all of it, as you can see with this documentary. I mean, they're very like open about mental health issues, like all the crazy, the parties that would go, like they didn't care, which I love that. I mean, I wish more people were like that when they were interviewing with this type of stuff, because it just makes it feel like you're part of something, or part of these guys' lives, even though they've, been doing it for so long. It just, I don't know.
Look, I was worried that Spaz might make Phil Tippett kill himself when he stole Jurassic Park from him.
I know. That's Spaz was an interesting character.
Yeah. This whatever. I mean, it seemed like he. Oh, were you in the military? Not exactly. No, he was in a weird. Dude was in a militia group or something.
Yeah,
they were talking about killing things. Yeah, that was some.
Not an American militia group, a Canadian one.
Yikes, dude! What's happening up in the Yukon? Yeah. He was like with a bunch of Canadian revolutionaries or something.
Yeah, that was quite
before we move on, like that early stuff, there is, I don't know if it's the right word for it, but there's almost something nearly providential about how they were able to get it done, because there were so many things that just continuously went wrong. They didn't have any of the technology for it. They made it all within a very short span. And like everybody being able to do like so many different things, and it providential is like the closest word I can come up with.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, I think that's not short enough for Lucas when it came to Dykstra, though.
Right.
Those guys
got their one. Well, but I mean, it paid off. I mean, all that. I know the joy of that story. Well, I came back from London and they had 2 shots.
Yes.
But they built everything from the ground up. Like the reason things happen now is because of what they did then. Pretty good investment.
I agree, Rhett, but that's also a little bit of hindsight.
Oh, sure. At the time, you can't.
If I were the boss on that project, I would be really pissed at Dykstra.
How much did you spend? And what? Well, there was one of the guys. Somebody quoted. I think it was Edlund who said it. He said, "We built this violin and had to learn how to play it," which I liked. I thought that was a good quote. Where that
is a good quote.
They put all this stuff like they had these cameras that they built and had to, now what's the application for them?
Look at this point right here. No offense to anybody in their 20s, because I know two of you guys are.
Offense to everybody in your 20s.
I don't think, like, what 20-year-old even has, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Dykstra was a little bit older, right? But he was flying planes. And
thanks to Canadian militia guy, we don't have to do Canadian computers now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
can't do.
You don't think we're doing anything, but we're typing all that code in our computer. Yeah.
That's right.
I'm not. I can't do any of it.
I can't do any of it either.
Let me tell you what holds up after all this time is that first shot from Star Wars. Like them talking about it and then running that scene a couple of times. Man, it still holds up.
There's a reason that scene's not replaced.
Yeah. They didn't have to do anything to that one.
That was epic. I mean,
so great.
The awkward part when Tippett, and it wasn't like totally awkward. And I know I'm jumping a couple episodes ahead, but when Tippett like finally realized that they weren't going to be doing, any character stuff anymore, and they were moving into like the realm of CGI, and really that was like prequel era, I guess.
93 is
started
93. Yeah, 93.
But he also was a part of the digital team.
Yeah, he was, but I mean, I don't know. It
became
just
very
felt
good at it, actually.
Yeah, he felt like kind of heartbroken, I think, a little bit at the time.
Because it wasn't, it probably wasn't as much of his passion anymore.
Well, dude wore his emotions on his sleeve too. I mean, he was, he was likely to react differently than some of those other guys anyway.
Whereas like Murin, he seemed like to roll with it. He wanted to learn the technology. Well, he forced himself to learn that stuff.
I don't even know if they mentioned it in this documentary, but Murin's the one who wanted to do the special editions with new CGI and all this stuff.
Really?
But he was one of the guys that spearheaded that. I mean, obviously Lucas was also totally on board with all that stuff, but he was one of the ones that really pushed for all that stuff.
Fetmatic makes a good point, and we haven't mentioned it.
Yes.
That was good work.
Idea. Yeah,
that was. And they didn't even get into the Boba Fett stuff.
Let me tell you, I'm a Joe Johnston fan. I'm a Joe Johnston stan.
I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great.
You're a Joe Johnston stan.
And as much as like we like to make fun of Lucas in certain ways, that moment in the documentary where Johnston is sort of explaining like Lucas kept him around to pay for him to go to film and paid for him to go to film school.
He's a good guy.
Paid off.
I mean, paid off. I mean, Johnston has gone on to do some great films.
Lucas, to me, though, I mean, like, and just watching this documentary just cements a lot of that continuously to me. He's kind of just a Steve Jobs type to me, where like he doesn't always do all the stuff that.
Well, he even said that himself.
He invent all these things, but he
knows how to pick people.
Yeah,
he
just
knows
think about it.
The right people and push them towards where the future of filmmaking needs to be.
Yeah. He sent Johnston to school and Dykstra on his merry way.
Well, luckily Dykstra didn't end up in a curb down by the river.
With
down by the
John
river.
D. Brannon.
John D. Brannon.
Hey, one thing I noticed that I never thought about, there were more maggots involved in Empire Strikes Back than I had any idea about.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Eating the fur. That
how do you come across that technique? He talked about it like it was so, well, when you take this and I've dipped it in this, I put some maggots on there. Like, was that trial and error? How do you arrive at that?
Yeah, exactly. How do you even
like my only guess would be like that's how Native Americans would like cure hides and stuff.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay, maybe.
Maybe
that's where my mind went to. But
I mean, you are from Wyoming, so of course you have all that knowledge that we don't have.
I'll never cure a hide.
No, I
it was almost like the horse scene, like how they got the horse head. It was a real horse head in The Godfather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it was a real shark in Jaws too.
No,
it wasn't. They wanted to, but
it was a real pinball machine in The Accused.
Wasn't even a real fake
Rhett,
shark.
I knew Rhett always has to go back to The Accused. It's just like his MO. He randomly talks about The Accused any chance he can get. We know you like that pinball scene, Rhett.
No, I don't say I liked it. It's a technical achievement.
Oh, is it? Is it now? Good grief. I guess back then they didn't have
what?
I don't know what's happening.
Back then they probably didn't have intimacy coordinators on set.
No, I don't think they probably did.
Whoa. What?
No, I don't think they probably did.
That wasn't a job that you could get back then.
Is there a rape? What is
my word. What are you talking about?
I looked up The Accused pinball and it said,
you should watch The Accused. It's a pretty good movie.
A brutal rape scene.
Yeah.
But it's not commentary on that. I'm just saying it was a real pinball machine.
All right, we got
I think we've lost the plot.
I don't know what he's referring to. I don't know if I want to know.
No. 92% on Rotten Tomatoes for The Accused.
Oh, it's a good movie.
I just said it was a good movie.
It's a good movie, but there's some questionable things in it.
Hey, you could not tell by watching this documentary that George Lucas did not direct Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Yeah, it didn't really go over that.
No, he was calling the shots, it looked like, based on what I saw.
He always was in post-production.
I love any moment where, to me, it also and I was going to jump. I don't want to jump forward to like the John Knoll era just yet because I want to talk about probably my favorite part of all of this. That thing that they came up with to suck the house from Poltergeist into
fantastic.
That was freaking amazing.
Yeah. And piano wire and shotguns and a vacuum and a truck. Yeah,
that
my word.
Freaking awesome. That was like the non-Star Wars thing. But
I loved it.
Toby Hooper?
Sure.
I don't think so. Every time they talk, I'm more and more convinced that Spielberg directed that movie.
Speaking of people who didn't direct a film. But
I mean, Toby Hooper was the director on paper, I guess.
I think Toby directed some of it, but I also think
I'm sure, but Spielberg had to have been. He was on set the whole time. I mean, it's not like he wasn't He wasn't in his trailer. I mean, he was on set the whole time.
But I mean, they didn't say Irvin Kershner's name.
No, or Marquand.
Right? Yeah. Well, nobody said
they had Kershner's. They had it written out on one of the scenes that they showed from Empire.
Yeah. No, they didn't.
Because I think they had to for credit
legally.
purpose. Yeah, legally.
Well, Kershner at the time was just like a rom-com guy. Like he wasn't really doing.
He was George's old teacher at USC.
Yeah, I mean, he was just like I don't know.
Threw him a bone.
Part of me wishes that he had thrown a couple other people some bones during the prequel era, but instead of him directing all three of them.
It's a bold confession from Michael.
That is bold.
And the sequel trilogy, in which he wouldn't have thrown anybody any bones.
Oh yeah.
But Michael,
he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
And that era also skipped in this documentary.
Yeah, let's not talk about Well, we went right to the volume.
Yes.
Yeah. None of the We'll get J.J. Abrams' opinion about something.
Prequels, volume.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was weird. It was odd. I'll say that. It was odd.
They made this point. It's the thing about George Lucas. It's the thing about Star Wars. It has always been pushing the medium forward. It did it in the prequels with digital film.
Yeah.
It didn't do it in the sequel trilogy, and it wasn't until The Mandalorian.
Well, I mean, that's the tough thing nowadays, though. The technology is tough.
So here's what Lucasfilm did when it came to the sequels. Let me just explain that. They went, people hated the prequels and it was pushing forward the medium. So let's give them the old stuff. Let's give them models and film,
creature costumes. And
but we're not going to include any of the creatures that they loved from the original ones. We're going to make all new ones that are probably all a little bit worse.
And they alluded to it a little bit in this documentary, is that you can have all these effects. Now that becomes that's what we expect. So now you've really got to wow people with story. And whoops, they dropped the ball on the sequels.
I mean, look, when I saw I think the very first thing I saw from Force Awakens was that little old lady creature with the little thing on her back, the little creature in her backpack, and from Jakku. She was just like the little old creature. That's like the first image I remember seeing, like just a picture of or something, and I was like, all right, I'm in. And then the steel pecker, I was like, heck yeah, let's go. And then
hang on, just worried I'm going to get an ad for that on Facebook
now. Look, The Force Awakens was fine.
It was a very exciting theater experience.
Yeah, but the things it set in motion were garbage.
Jacob.
The doctor is in.
The doctor's here.
Phil Tippett's dinosaur.
Should have been Phil Tippett. Should have been Phil Tippett's Zoloft.
Wow. Oh man. No, dude. I was going to put Phil Tippett's love
Dr. Earl shows up.
Has this been off the rails already?
No, pretty good.
No, we had a small detour to the accused.
Good night.
Of course.
Yes, I really wanted to get to that, Brian. I love all the gushing about Harryhausen and the Sinbad films.
Oh, sure.
Those are things I watched growing up as well.
You got to, man. You got to.
The Cantina stuff was amazing as well. I knew about that. I'd heard that story before. I think that was in Empire Dreams, where it was like they shot it in England and George hated it, and he's finally like, okay, can you guys do something? And they're like, yeah, we can probably throw together enough costumes, find enough old props, and make them into something that looks Star Wars.
I like that there are cheap old horror masks in the crowd, and Wolfman and all. I hate that some of that stuff's erased nowadays, but
2001 pod out in front of the cantina.
Yeah. Earl, what was some highlights since you just jumped in? What's some of the highlights for you from the series?
I mean, I really loved. Sorry, I'm eating drugs here or something. I don't know.
You sure you're a doctor?
You got a bowl full of Quaaludes.
Yeah, he prescribed it to himself.
Sorry, guys, I'm getting a little happy here.
Earl's doing scenes from Gross Anatomy over here.
That's what he's got to do to keep up with us.
No, I loved all the early stuff. I loved your, just watching Dykstra and how he put the team together. And then, of course, I never knew that George Lucas was pretty much unhappy with him. And really, he was kind of not a very good manager of, sort of keeping people on track. And
I didn't know how huge Dykstra was.
Yeah,
dude was tall.
All these people
he's a big
super
dude,
creatives. That's why they had to bring in, and I can't remember her name, but they brought this woman in that
woman who kind of helped them
reeled all this in because these are all just creative
you know.
people. They're not going to be able to manage people.
I think Rose Digan.
Tico.
What was her? Dwegan. What was her name?
Patricia Rose Dugan.
Patricia.
Yeah. I liked her. She was like grounded.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was 70s, like a 70s 8.
Is that worse or better now? I don't.
So, yeah,
no. And then in the inner 70s, she's
Oh and this definitely was slumming it. By the way, I mean, I totally.
But that's
slumming it.
Oh yeah,
nobody complained. Nobody hated the effects in Battlestar Galactica. Vipers look fantastic.
Galactica was one
at
of
the
most
time,
expensive shows at
man.
the
They
time,
were like off the charts.
Yeah,
they really slummed it when they worked on Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Yes.
That's where they were really.
Well,
completely agree. Absolutely.
Yes, the slow crawling.
My gosh, you love your you love your model. We get it. My gosh.
The first time I watched that film, I screamed that at the film like a million times.
Like keep it moving. Yes. And I like beauty shots too. I like that kind of stuff, but I'm like, this is too much.
It's not a bad film, but it just lingers too much.
Yeah.
Well,
now there's that. There's a restored.
Well,
look, there's a restored version, like a longer cut. I think it's got even more beauty shots in it.
Well, I've heard the special longer version, which is going to be on like the $90 set or whatever coming out soon.
There's even another.
It's on Paramount now.
Yeah, the special longer version, that's the VHS Laserdisc version, actually does have some scenes in it that aren't just the beauty shots.
Help
the film.
Move the plot.
More Persis Kambata.
The only Star Trek I've ever seen are the JJ Star Wars treks.
Really? You've never seen Khan?
I know.
You need to watch the first 6 of the.
I've seen the Cumberbatch.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, actually, maybe skip 5.
Sorry,
yeah. 5 is crap. 6 is a little chintzy, but
dude, I love 6. Undiscovered.
No, I do too, but it's the worst from an effect standpoint. Like it's only marginally better than 5 from an effect. Like they look pretty dated now.
2, 4, and 6 are the best of that.
Yeah,
to me.
Yeah.
Well, that's whatever. Yeah, everybody else always
all
like
the even numbered ones.
True.
The even ones are better. Yeah, I don't know. Like 4.
4 is a delight.
Trek is for nerds.
There be whales there.
Yeah.
Wait, is 4 where they go to Earth
San Francisco?
Yeah.
There's a whale or something.
Yeah. That's a great one. That's a great. That's a great
number.
movie.
It's good. It's good.
Look, I think it's time to get back to talking about cool stuff like Ken Ralston putting potatoes and
look. They worked on these.
In the asteroid
I love some Ken Ralston too. Give me all the Ken Ralston.
Yeah,
he was awesome. Just doing as much he can to get away, seeing as much he can get away with.
The potatoes.
So serious about it.
Yes, the gum.
No, Johnston was a serious guy in general. I mean, that dude's like
serious.
Yeah, he's very stoic when he's talking about everything.
I was there. He was talking through it, but I mean, he's very talented.
He's the one that wanted to do a Boba Fett movie. Like and this was, I guess, before the sale. Before the sale.
But instead, they gave it to Trank.
And then that didn't happen.
And it didn't work out.
I think at the time it was rumored that it was Johnston's script that Trank was doing. And,
they got so close to that movie happening. Trank was at Celebration and was supposed to come out on stage.
And then
they
watched his movie.
Holy ass. ILM, can you put something together really, really fast for Rogue One?
A motion poster.
Yes, and it was just like them going over Alderaan and seeing the Death Star.
Make sure to add these TIE fighter shots at the end of the trailer that aren't in the film.
Exactly.
They reworked that whole thing.
Yes.
That was the classic Kathleen Kennedy. Hey, give me this like super dark war movie, and that's what he does. And then they're like, that's not what we wanted. What are you doing? And he's like, that's what we've
got to bring in the savior Tony Gilroy to make sure everything comes out.
You can say that sarcastically, Mikey, but Tony Gilroy is the savior.
And then they did the same thing with Lord and Miller Solo. Give us a comedy. Here's a comedy.
Right. They tell them the assignment, and then they deliver on the assignment.
We don't expect that. We want more of the same thing. Can you build a Death Star in this one? Could you guys blow something up at the end?
How did we get coaxium? Whose brilliant idea was that?
Dude, and they keep using coaxium. That's still in like
in cartoons in your turd books.
It was in the Lego special. It was
the Lego special. The special that just came out.
Yes.
They used
I know it. That's fine. But I'm saying maybe the Lego special isn't our mainline Star Wars narrative.
It's better than unobtainium.
It's canon.
I mean,
It's
come
canon.
on.
Well, see, here's the problem, Mikey. So, like,
Unobtainium.
on the one hand, unobtainium is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. But on the other hand, people love it because it's been used in sci-fi for like decades now. It's not
Right.
It's not like a new thing. So anyway, so like,
But
they're calling back to that thing. It's like, anyway.
How about that one woman who left her husband to work at ILM, Ellen Poon?
Yeah, that was a little.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. She was like, he didn't want to come, so I said, I'm out.
Look,
I'm out.
I mean, follow your dreams.
Dude,
Yeah, that's what she said. She's like, you should always follow your dreams. I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, like you had a prior commitment.
Yeah, yikes! I know
Dude,
that poor guy.
Where was she from? Was she from communist China?
Yeah, she was from
Hong Kong, so it wasn't communist China then.
But
Married a guy from England.
They were
right?
under Britain rule.
Yes,
Yeah,
but then she moved to
yeah,
England with her husband,
Yeah.
and then
I mean, it wasn't like
she left her husband.
like a not without my
She met
daughter
her husband.
situation.
She met her husband.
We're from Iran. Like, oh, her husband, he didn't want to go. No, they were like civilized people. They just left him to go to ILM.
Yeah. He's like, but honey, my job's here, and she's like, see.
And then another thing, look, I can't believe that Disney let this. I can't believe Disney let this through. But Doug Chang said he was from Taiwan instead of the corporate approved Chinese Taipei.
Yes.
So I assume that will be that they'll issue a public apology at some point.
Here on the Deucecast, we follow the one China policy.
Oh my God! No, I recognize the statehood of Taiwan.
Brian's not wrong. Brian is not wrong.
Now, I have a question about that. What would they call about?
Oh yeah, we want your skills in what?
As a man of janitorial
services, janitorial engineering.
Michael knows what's canon and what's not canon.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. We want you to replace Pablo Hidalgo. We need to replace Pablo Hidalgo.
I would be fine with that.
I would love anybody to replace Pablo
We need
Hidalgo.
a bidet repairman. Lucas's bidet is not doing well.
A bidet tester.
This is taking a turn for the ugly.
I always want you to.
He could be a film tester. There you go. Tell you what's good and what's
test
not.
screener. Yeah.
I can tell Lucas.
There we go.
If Red Tails 2 is not good or not.
Red Tails 2, yeah. Now
I
back
don't
to
know.
the old drawing board on this.
I may have gone too far in a couple places.
They didn't include that line in the
I
document.
love that quote.
That's my favorite one. I remembered it a couple months ago, and I was like, I need to put that in at the end of the podcast.
Dude, it's great. I love it every time that.
Yeah,
I may have gone a little too far on a couple of things.
I'm disappointed that Phil Tippett did not get a writing credit on Jurassic Park. When he told it, he said, "How do you feel?" He said, "I feel extinct."
Yeah,
and he said, "Well, I'm going to put that in the movie." Well, guess what?
Well,
he should have gotten a little
for all profits related to Jurassic Park.
Read the WGA is it's a habit.
Yeah. He was non-union work, so he got the shaft.
Exactly.
I like the guy that was Spaz. He was one of the
we talked about Spaz a little bit.
He was like a Canadian guy, and he's like, well, I can't really talk about him.
Yeah, he was like some weird revolutionary group, some paramilitary group in Canada.
Yeah, and he's like, I can't.
What? Yeah,
like wow.
What?
Still,
what did they have in Canada?
Yeah, at first I thought he was like a contract worker, and then then when he's like, I can't talk about it, I was like, what?
He was clearing the way for all their pipelines.
Yes.
The caribou.
Protect the caribou.
Slaughtering them by the thousand.
Just in a helicopter.
In a sniper rifle.
Yeah, Canadian Special Forces or something, man.
Well, I don't think he was at all. I think he was in I think he was in like a weird militia.
Yeah, I think
because he was like, all my friends started talking about killing people, and I had to get out of there. I'm like, he was Canadian revolutionaries.
Yeah. He's like, I really like guns, but I didn't want to kill people. But all my friends really, really wanted to. I was like, okay,
get out of there.
I'll just go draw dinosaurs on a computer.
Yeah. Pixar computer.
Pixar.
Mm-hmm. What about John Knoll and his brother?
We got to talk about John Knoll then. Talk about a dude like I wanted my dad to drive me to ILM, and he was like 15.
And just dropped him off.
on a business trip, and you're like, I'll swing by and drop you off.
Yeah,
dropped by. They let him in. They're like, "Come on, man, there's no way we can do that today."
Didn't he call beforehand and was like, "Hey, can I get a tour?"
He did.
That's what it was.
And wasn't it Dennis Muren who was like, "Yeah, I'll show you around"?
Yeah,
but that was Lauren Peterson, I think.
Yes, it was Lauren Peterson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, just you couldn't do that today.
No.
I mean, you couldn't call like ILM today and say like, "Hey, Doug, can I come?"
I'm interested in I'm kind of interested in getting in the film. Can I come see how you do it? Yeah. No.
Hey, I'm 45. Could I come hang out?
I might have a career here eventually.
You're trespassing on private property.
They're like, get your picture with the Yoda statue and get out.
Yeah, exactly. Go to the bronze statue, get your picture, and get out of here.
I wish they had covered more of the Michael Bay experience as they worked on the Transformers movies.
Yeah. They skipped over a lot.
Yeah, I wish we would have.
They skipped over a ton. Yeah.
But I think that's because he's a crazy person, and I would have liked to have seen some of the reactions from ILM when they said, I want you to make this jagged blob of metal cram into this other jagged blob of metal. I just want to see what those is. Meanwhile, cocaine.
Make it faster.
Can you make this robot have balls? Can you?
I like what you've done here, but it needs more testicles.
They really could have done this in like 3 seasons and been like, original trilogy era.
They could have done 6 eras,
a prequel trilogy era, and then a sequel trilogy era.
They could have done 6 episodes for 10-year span from 76 on.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of it was
so good.
Was cast in just what he was specifically interested in.
Yes.
Like he's probably not interested in talking to Michael Bay. I mean,
no.
He's probably just like, I don't care about that era of ILM.
It was more about the traditional era.
We did get Jim Cameron and his.
Yeah, we got a lot of Cameron.
Yeah, egotistical.
But I mean, look, he was.
Maniac, James Cameron.
T2 is a seminal moment in film.
Sure.
I was struck by how when they describe how they did it. There was one scene where they were talking about him going through the bars, and they had to program it so that the two substances would react and conform to one another, and the way they describe it, it just makes sense. It sounds so simple, but you have to code all that. And you have to have the brain that thinks of it.
Write it from the ground up.
Yeah, from just with like first time in history, right?
Yeah,
right.
And that really struck me, is it sounds very simple, but it obviously is not. But the leap we made from. We're 90, or I don't remember when did The Abyss come out? Was that 89 or 90?
89.
Yeah, I want to say, and
the water column.
And then you had T2, and then you had full-fledged Jurassic Park in 93. That leap was very. I mean, you went from T2, which was we've never done anything like this before, to a full-fledged Jurassic Park. And we've not looked back.
They even seem surprised by that, though. Like,
I love that episode where they were just like, they saw it on screen. It was like, oh my gosh.
Oh
this actually works.
Just a dinosaur walking.
And even Murin was skeptical at first. I like that.
I mean, they all.
He
were
had
probably...
Phil Tippett working on and Stan.
Well, they had that. They did that earlier in the show where Lucas said, "I want to do this, that, and the other," and he was like, "Oh, that can't be done." And Lucas said, "Well, just think about it."
Yeah,
I know. He thought about it for 15 minutes and figured it out.
He keeps telling people to just think about it.
Well, just think about it.
Faster, more intense. Faster.
But
it worked.
Exactly.
I don't think Blade Runner was.
No,
I don't think it was
ILM, was it? I think it was.
I don't think so. Well, let's see.
Let's find out.
I don't know. I don't know if they were.
So the MythBuster guys that worked there, that was the Asian guy, right? He died recently.
Yes,
he worked on the
Grant Imahara.
Imahara. Yeah.
Worked on what? Blade Runner?
He died like 10. It's been 10 years since he's passed away.
That's right. Douglas Trumbull did the special effects for Blade Runner. He's the one that did 2001.
Once you get my age, time is tough. But I think it's been several years.
2020.
Trumbull.
Oh, I didn't know it was okay.
Trumbull's the one that did Blade Runner 2001 and the Tree of Life.
Right.
Tree of Life.
I have now seen all cuts of Tree of Life, and I feel
you've seen all cuts of Tree of Life.
I've seen every cut I'm ever going to see. That's for sure.
Man, try sitting through 3 hours and 8 minutes of Tree of Life.
Oh my gosh,
it's glorious. Just the way...
it's awful. No, it's just so much wheat. It's all wheat and tire swings.
No, okay, there is more family dynamics of the longer
that's
cut.
what I'm saying. There's more with
in the 5-hour cut. There's more explained.
But there's also more of these like planet shots and
I mean, I like that part. It just doesn't contextually. None of it meant anything to me. Yeah. It was just nonsense.
There's a random shot where Sean Penn is being choked by a guy who looks like he's got acromegaly. He's like,
he's got what?
Like he's like got the big face. Yeah, if you saw the guy,
like,
you'd realize,
like the guy from Mask.
Yeah, well, not
like Eric Stoltz, like Eric Stoltz big.
This guy that used to have this disease. Anyway, it makes your face grow kind of big and rubbery, and so he's like just shaking him back and forth for no reason for about a minute, and not a second. And then it was like, well, okay, there's that. I was like,
can somebody please answer Brian's question? I don't know if they worked at ILM.
Yes, they both did. It looks like Jamie Heineman worked for ILM on the prequel movies, Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. Adam Savage, designer who worked for ILM, building miniatures during Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, he seemed like a model shop guy.
I know that they were not actually friends in real life. In fact, they do not have a good working relationship.
Yeah, no, they don't. They're on the house now.
Was just all a ruse.
It was, yeah.
Star.
That's too bad. I hate to hear that.
I've heard the Deucecast kind of is too.
Yeah, that's why we do it remotely now.
Yeah,
we can't be in the same room with each other anymore. Yeah, we can't.
We have certain,
Yeah, I got tired of Earl. Earl had this like green M&M thing. He always wanted green M&Ms.
His rider.
I got so tired of it.
Now, when we record CTI, we all stand in a circle holding hands.
At least it's hands.
That's why it hasn't been done in so long.
I was going to say, why are we not doing this? Come on.
That's why we haven't done it in so long. It's just because we're Dude, don't mention CTI. If you mention CTI, Aussie Nate's going to just like abruptly wake up.
No, we need to do it. We're due to record a good CTI.
Yeah, it's been 2 years. So yeah, you're right. It's probably about time.
Yeah, I think your last episode was right during the
beginning of June. It was June the 4th of a year ago.
Yeah, it was after COVID.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was June the 4th a year ago. So,
well, I don't know how.
Well, I don't know if anything's going to be after COVID, but
I think that I was inebriated heavily in that episode.
Yeah, those are the best ones.
I just no, I can't do that anymore.
Why not? What are you, a teetotaler? You're a teetotaler now. You went to the rodeo. Now you're all like, oh, I can't drink.
It was at the cowboy church.
Of rodeo culture.
It was at the cowboy church.
Rodeo culture is like, please give me a beer. It's 8 in the morning. I haven't had anything.
Well, this particular one we went to,
and
was
if you have
some
Percocets that I can wash it down with as well, please
crumble them up in the beer.
I bet those guys are hurting all
Percocet.
the time.
Oh yeah, who needs a Percocet?
And they're always on the
road. He's popping them like M&Ms.
Good grief. This is ridiculous.
Breaking news. Alabama doctor has license pulled.
Yeah, exactly. We've got to talk about John Knoll and how just awesome that dude is. I mean, the Photoshop, the whole 9 yards. I mean,
I had no idea. I had no idea he and his brother were the guys behind Photoshop.
Right.
I like how he just kept poking his brother. I like that story of, could you do this?
Mm-hmm. He was the Lucas to him.
But they're the reason our movie posters are so terrible now.
Curse John Knoll.
Yeah,
very true.
We need Drew Struzan back. Come on.
Yes, we need all the.
Drew,
yeah, we need Drew Struzan. That's for sure. He still does them every once in a while. He'll probably do the Indy 5 poster. I guarantee he'll do that.
That would be awesome.
He will. I bet he will. There's no way.
Harrison Ford dies. Phoebe Waller-Bridge takes place as the new Indy going forward.
That's such Reddit nonsense.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Hey, last time, who had it right? Whose Reddit nonsense was completely right?
I still have that envelope. I
wrote a list of all the things that would happen in the movie and gave it to him when we went to see it.
You weren't 100%.
I was 100% in there.
Wait, was this for
what movie was this
Which
for?
movie was this? Last Jedi?
No, Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the movie leaked. I was.
I know, but he didn't believe me. He didn't want to. It was so terrible. He couldn't believe it. He was like, "No, I don't believe it."
Okay,
yeah, believe it.
I also have to say, when movie plot points leak, subreddits go into meltdown mode. When Endgame and Infinity War's plot leaked, they're like, "This is the worst thing ever. I'm not. What have the Russo brothers done to this universe?"
But
and then when it came out, people were like, "This is great."
But Rise of Skywalker, like it was. They were right about Rise of Skywalker, though.
Well, they were right about Endgame
worst
and
garbage.
War, but yeah.
No, I mean, but except they had their take was wrong, though. The take was right on. Yeah.
Anyways, I refuse to believe the Phoebe Waller-Bridge stuff.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge is in the film. She's likely a legacy type character. Probably
they're going back in time. Indy will die. She'll pick up the mantle.
Well, I don't know that Indy will die, but
back in time.
I do think time
I
might
have heard
be
the
involved.
time travel thing.
He's
going to go back and marry Peggy Carter.
Indiana Jones will perish.
Wait.
No.
Okay. Wait. Why do you guys have an issue with time travel? I mean, we've seen people's faces melt off and hearts ripped out,
which was a great part of this documentary.
Thing. I mean,
well,
Oh yeah, that was
the Raider stuff. I love how they did the face melting, which is still.
Now let's get back to the documentary.
And even the ghosts in the water tank.
Totally believable when that guy got his heart pulled out of his chest. That can happen, right, Dr. Earl? A guy pulls a heart out of a chest.
He can still
he died,
so you gotta have a lot of force, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of force.
How many newtons of force is that required?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of newtons.
You have to say the magic words too. So,
right, that was magic stones.
Yeah. How many fig newtons? What?
How many fig newtons?
The cloud box was really cool in the documentary as well. I did not know that's how that worked. The cloud box for
that was really cool.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
You've got your salt water on the bottom, your cold salt water, your hot fresh water.
Yeah.
Pump
a whatever solution into it. Looks fantastic. I want one for the house.
It's the cumulus clouds just appear.
I want them. I want one.
That was another poltergeist thing. That was really awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but they used that effect, that cloud mess effect. I mean, all the way back to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That was clearly an established method for doing that cloud business.
Correct.
That they adapted to make the ghosts in Poltergeist.
I do wish. And I know we talked about it, but I wish
I'm sorry,
it wouldn't have.
It was
Raiders.
It was Raiders.
Yes, it was Raiders.
That's
what I said.
I said Poltergeist. Yeah, you're right.
That's what I said.
I do think they use the same the tanks for Poltergeist. Because you can see them anyway.
Yeah. I wish we would have focused on less Star Wars stuff from the original trilogy, because we've got so much stuff about it already.
It's already out. Yeah, I mean. They had to have an origin, though.
But it wouldn't exist. ILM wouldn't exist without it, though.
Yeah,
for sure.
Have to tell that story to set the players where they need to be.
Got to have George doing his thing. George spent a lot of time.
Look,
he doesn't have anything else to talk about.
I ate it up. I love those first two episodes.
I knew it all, though, so I just wanted
But not everyone knows it all.
I know, but they should.
You have to come from the standpoint of your audience doesn't know everything.
Right. That's what. Kasdan knew that he had to build a story,
and also especially these younger generations.
One of the things I felt with what I felt like was after we got past Star Wars, I was like, "Whoa, we're just skipping." Okay.
Yeah, they went really fast
for Star Wars.
Lightspeed skipping.
I would love not that they'll ever like release any of the extras, because we'll never get DVDs of anything on Disney Plus.
Don't remind me.
No, dude, I'm
physical media forever.
Right.
It's all back in the Disney vault.
I own it, and I have the physical media. They can't take it away from me.
You have pirated copies of the physical media.
See, Jacob, I'm the other way. I wish they hadn't spent as much time on like the volume in the Mandalorian.
You don't care about the volume?
Well,
no, 10 minutes. They spent like 10 minutes on the volume.
But I mean, we did all that with the extras or the galleries or whatever.
Well, I don't know who the audience for this is. I mean, it's obviously us. It's this niche, but I don't think it has wide appeal. The same moms, Facebook moms who watched Mandalorian for Baby Yoda do not care about any of this and will not watch it.
Right. I mean, that's a big.
I think they made it for a very broad audience, but I don't know that they're going to get a broad audience.
I don't know why they would.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you have a streaming service, you don't have to make necessarily everything for a broad audience. I mean, I wish they would do more of this making of type of stuff.
Well, yeah, it's low cost.
I wish
it costs them nothing to put this together, too.
At streaming services, just keep burning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, keep burning the money.
If you're not losing $892 million a quarter, don't even talk to me.
What are you even doing? What are you even doing?
This is insane, guys. Could you run a business and lose $900 million a quarter and
Earl does.
And still be open and not?
He's literally the opposite.
I asked the government
not be in jail.
Right.
Well, that's a division of it, right? Yeah, like that's one division of a multi-division.
Yes.
Sure.
So if you treat it like a loss leader, where we've got
Disney Plus though, but
we've
Netflix.
got this content that is now an asset in the future that you own. I mean, from an accounting standpoint, I can get it. I can make that work, but the eye test of you're losing $1 billion a year,
right,
and I don't get it. I don't. What is your end game? What do you think you can do?
End game is you want to be the last one out there, and so you're going to burn through all your money until you are the brand.
Yeah, but
it's the same thing that's happening with the sports betting
stuff. And then when you're the brand, you tick that spending down until you're profitable.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Netflix has had tried that and it didn't work, and they had to tick down.
They're all running off the Netflix model. That's the problem.
Yeah, they don't need to run off the Netflix model. That's not a good idea, because they're going to end up where Netflix is now and having to pare back everything and do all this international
charging
stuff.
$20, and Netflix is never going to go backwards in price.
I'm not going to complain about a bunch of shows that we're getting, and some of them have been really good, some of them haven't. But But
I don't know.
Spending is insane. It's crazy.
I mean, I don't know. I think there's philosophically, I think there's a lot to say about all of it. I mean, I think that's a great topic to discuss is, what does it do to the industry if so you have this content, but it's a single source of revenue. Mm-hmm. You lose some of your avenues of revenue that you would have in if you release in different formats. Correct. You don't get the home video. You don't get some of the theatrical stuff. And I think it affects merchandising too, because now you're marketing a very limited group. It does not necessarily have the same widespread zeitgeist style recognition. So you're not buying blankets and toys and mugs. And all.
Why would a kid want to play with the toys if he could just pull up the movie on his iPad?
All the time. You don't. You're constant exposure to it means you have no room for you to play. You don't need your imagination because you've got somebody else's imagination constantly blasted in your face.
And Rhett, before Disney created Disney Plus, Netflix was paying them like $50 million for their films.
Yep,
that's a revenue stream they cut off.
Yep, and to spend billions and billions and billions, upon billions, and you get. And listen, the Disney model is such where a lot of these subscriptions are free. Now they license them at some wholesale price to a Verizon, who bundles them when you get a new Verizon service, or something like that. So they're not even like it's just not. It's not this pure profit that you would think it is.
Yeah.
It's weird.
A lot of avenues you have to pay. You have to pay the
that's why all of them are going to like these ad stream versions, like where there's going to be ads.
But ads don't make you that much money.
No, but Disney Plus is about to have an ad version.
Well, but the thing about ads, here's the thing about ads: inflation has destroyed that market. The economy, two quarters of regression has destroyed that market.
There's no use the right word, regression, not recession.
Yeah, regression, not recession.
You can't
two quarters.
An auto dealership, like I just read where auto dealerships are spending zero on advertising now because they ain't got no cars to sell anymore.
No,
right.
So your supply chain issues have ruined advertising. So the ad model's not going to work either. You're going to have a little bump because it's an election year and you get that kind of ad revenue, but that's it.
And Hulu for a while wasn't letting any political ads on.
And they're going to rule that out. They're going to, but that's the only ad stream of revenue out there.
Oh yeah.
Or
even when the ad stream was working, Sirius XM. Do you know what their revenue split was in terms of profit?
No idea.
Okay, Sirius XM, which runs ads. 99% of their profits came from subscriptions. 1% came from ads.
Wow.
Then why is Disney Plus and HBO Max even bothering with that? I mean, just to get subscribers, I guess, at a smaller bump.
the Tubies, the Freebies, and the Plutos, which all run these ads on this stuff, they don't make a ton of money, but they probably will make just enough to get by. So maybe,
which is why I don't see anything big there.
I don't know.
Pluto's safe anyways because it's a Viacom. I mean, CBS owns them,
but it's all old run movies, and it's all you know.
Hey, people apparently love Tubi. I haven't really dived into it enough to figure out why people love it so much, but apparently people love Tubi. I don't know. Some other conglomerate owns that though. That they're not their own company. I mean, I think somebody owns Tubi.
There's Tubi and Movie.
I mean, in Disney's case, Disney's parks are doing really well right now. They're making a ton of money.
Yeah, Freebie. That's Amazon owns that.
I'm sure they're making some money through their cartoons. I know Encanto sold like crazy in terms of merch.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. I don't know about Lightyear yet. We'll have to see. But
nobody cares about Lightyear.
Probably not like Encanto.
Well, look, I was just at Target the other day. They had a lot of Lightyear stuff on the shelf, and it's pretty good stuff.
Right.
I mean, just at a glance, I'm like, those are some cool toys that I wish I, had a reason to have, but I don't think it's resonating from a cultural standpoint.
I have not watched it.
They just didn't. They would set out to make a Star Wars, and they didn't even make it anyway.
Speaking of Star Wars, let's talk about Light and Magic. No.
Yes.
I think we've talked about quite a bit of stuff. I do like Doug Chang a lot. I think that dude is. I mean, and I think he's currently the head of ILM, John Knoll, and then those two guys are up there at ILM.
That's probably true.
There's one other guy I can't remember, but Chang, because he had all the stuff to do with. He got to do the Galaxy's Edge. He gets to do. I mean, he's involved in all the design of character design and ship design and stuff like that. I mean,
and Michael, you got a shot of Rick McCallum there sitting with George.
There was one quick shot of Rick McCallum. Yeah, McCallum. You were right.
Yeah.
Where did he go?
Well, he's in. Where is he? He's in Europe somewhere making movies. He's in Eastern Europe. I think he's in the Czech Republic.
Prague.
Yeah, I think he's in the Czech Republic.
He's saying yes to anything Lars von Trier wants now.
Gross.
Guys, he just got diagnosed with Parkinson's. Lay off
von Trier. Yeah, I know, but I thought that was a shot at McCallum.
Parkinson's?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't excuse that.
It doesn't excuse any of it, but still.
Yeah. That explains Nymphomaniac. No, it doesn't.
Well, you one and two.
Antichrist. Oh, it makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
It all makes sense now. Yeah. There's some things I could say, but no.
That was just a shot at McCallum, not.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no.
I
wish that he would. No, he doesn't. He kept a lot of the ship together in the prequels.
He's a yes man.
No.
George would be like, "Well, let's do this here," and
no, he was a.
That sounds great, George.
Red Tail.
He was a corporate.
Right.
Nobody.
How dare you?
He was
the.
Who gets defensive about Rick McCallum except for Michael?
He was an integral part of the prequels happening.
Exactly.
You've got to have the business side. You've got to have the business side.
He produced Radioland Murders, so he's good in my heart because Radioland Murders is a cherished film from my childhood. So
interesting.
That's right. Yeah, I Radioland Murders.
That was a.
I didn't know you were a big Brian Bin fan.
Brian Bin, yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Not many of those out there.
Dream On, right? Wasn't that?
Yeah, Dream On and Radioland Murders, and that was about it. That was about all that.
That was a Lucas movie, right? Was he director?
Yes. Yeah.
He produced it. He produced it.
And I think he did the story or whatever.
Yeah. I think the same guy that, like, on paper directed Red Tails directed Radioland Murders. I think it's the same guy.
Mel Smith?
I don't think that's true.
No, I don't.
Mel Smith was the director of Red Tails?
No, of Radioland Murders. Yeah.
I think that was Alan Smithy that directed Red Tails.
No.
All right.
It's a legitimate.
Where are we going, guys?
Red Tails, and
let's talk about matte paintings. Let's talk about the beauty of.
We talked about.
We already talked about that.
Anthony Hemingway is the director of Red Tails.
Yeah, Ellen Shaw. That guy had a legacy. His dad did a lot of stuff like that.
Passed it on to
Disney.
And it's interesting that he kind of like left Disney to go to ILM. That was a big risk on his part. I mean, he was at an established studio like Disney just to.
Although Disney, when it was run by Walt Disney, was another company that kind of flew by the seat of their pants and
Sure.
Constantly, we're almost bankrupt at times.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you almost have to be.
Yes.
We're
that line.
We're Nazi sympathizers. Also.
No.
Wait, what? What just happened?
No. Let's stop it, Red.
Good night, everyone.
Don't spread that crap.
It's such BS.
Just Walt.
What?
That
is
documented.
Not true. That's
no,
it's
well
not.
documented.
It's not documented at all. It's not documented at all. How dare you?
My gosh, people just go to bat for the weirdest people. McCallum, who raped everybody's childhood with the prequels, and then you've got got Nazi sympathizer Walt Disney. Everybody's rushing to his defense.
Sir,
Good grief.
That
was your childhood. You hadn't even had a childhood back then.
There we go.
He's a great guy.
Now Polanski is.
Earl talking about Polanski.
I was 2 years
old.
She was 14. Okay, Roman.
I was 2 years old in the theater watching Phantom Menace, screaming out Anakin. Apparently, so
were you two when TPM came out?
I was 1.5. Actually,
okay, I was 2 when Star Wars came out. So
okay,
there you go.
I was 4 when Phantom Menace came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys didn't get to see, and so I is the old man.
Oh my gosh! Here's
I remember,
radio. Here's World War II Newsreel Earl.
That's right. See, Fat Matt, you've offended Fat Matic. In your Disney nonsense. Your Disney's nonsense. Exactly.
The first Star Wars film I remember seeing in theaters is Revenge of the Sith. I don't even remember the first two.
My first memory is The Phantom Menace.
My first movie memory is maybe is it Empire? Yeah. So my dad wouldn't let me watch
97?
Empire. He wouldn't let me watch Empire because he wanted to save the reveal for like when I was older. Yeah. And then because he kept telling me not to watch that movie when he was gone one day and I was being babysat, I put it in the VHS player and watched it without him.
I don't remember Star Wars, but I remember Empire Strikes Back at the Alabama Fairgrounds Drive-In in Weston.
Wow. Yeah, I remember Return of the Jedi, I think, seeing that in a theater somewhere. Probably not in the United States, but I remember seeing that somewhere.
I was there at the beginning.
Yeah, we've heard your story.
I was on USS Indianapolis. Wait, that's wrong.
I remember THX 138.
You do. Yeah, no, he remembers American Graffiti and THX 1138. Earl remembers all that.
No, I don't remember. That.
Tora.
No, I was 9. I was 9 for Star Wars.
It was like when George got crashed into.
That's right. When George hit that tree, Earl was
rolled
there
8 times, wrapped around a tree.
He was there for the premiere of Birth of the Nation.
I was there for it. I was like, "This
What's
is
the one where
movie.
the guy gets where the moon gets hit in the face?"
Oh yeah.
Flight to the Moon or something.
Flight to the Moon.
The eye, the bullet. Now I'm trying to tell my New Hope story, man.
So this must have been HBO then, because I don't think they aired anywhere but
came
HBO.
On HBO, maybe. Oh man,
CBS
in '84.
It came on. I know it was broadcast because I have Memorex audio cassettes that we recorded. Nobody could speak. We just recorded the audio from the TV on the freaking cassettes.
That's awesome. You still have those?
Somewhere, probably.
My dad did the same thing, and he memorized all of the lines from the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh, like by playing it in the car, like he would just listen to it.
The radio drama. I remember listening to the radio drama and getting excited about it.
You were part of the radio drama.
Yeah.
That's right.
Lux presents.
Back when
And now the New Hope.
Earl and Marconi.
Joseph Cotton.
What? Like the actor or the?
Yeah, he did a bunch of Lux radio theater.
Yeah.
Come on.
Garrison's older soul than me. Come on.
Lux, yeah.
He remembers that the hysteria of War of the Worlds.
Orson Welles, baby.
And here they come. They're coming down.
I
love Newsreel Earl.
Newsreel Earl is the best.
I probably should not go into full rant on that. So let's leave it.
All right, we've got an hour and 15.
This is a winner.
We've got to wrap it
up. Is this the She-Hulk week or is it next week?
No.
Next week. This week is
I almost feel like I need to take Rhett off by announcing this, but we're going to do an I Am Groot roundtable next week.
Oh.
Wait, where is that? Is that on
it's
Disney Plus?
Kid short
it's
thing.
20 minutes of cartoons. No, it's not. It's photorealistic.
Why didn't you cover? Why didn't you cover the Lego show then?
Because we had this to cover.
This summer vacation thing.
We had this and Super Pets to cover
with Matt Lanter and Jack.
Because this Groot thing is canon, I think. So
maybe.
I think.
I mean, it's set in between the first and second movie. They said. Yeah. But I've also seen James Gunn say it takes place on Earth Pi 314 or something. So but
James Gunn.
Who knows?
Yeah. James Gunn, he's just talking.
He's just talking. But no, that's look, we've got one more week before She-Hulk, so we've got to do something next Tuesday. So we're gonna do I Am Groot.
She-Hulk.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, sorry, Red.
I think it's
I'm excited.
Suck.
Oh, come on.
It's gonna suck real bad.
Freaking Daredevil's in it.
Now listen, one of the things that I've seen in the clip
for 2 minutes.
You know that clip of Hulk throwing the rock, and then She-Hulk throws it further. Well, there's a follow-up where he really hurls one off into over the horizon, which made me feel a little better about it, frankly.
Yeah.
That was my one complaint of the. That was one of my biggest complaints of the trailer. And then when they showed that, I was like, you know, okay.
Yeah, maybe they're aware enough to not do that to us.
It'll be fine.
I don't want fine. I mean, fine is what's. Like I don't just want mediocrity. I don't want to go to. I don't want to go to Applebee's, right? I want something better than Applebee's. I don't want Applebee's TV.
Not every single one of these shows is going to
Applebee's is good. The Applebee's song is really bad.
I don't know if I remember the Applebee's song.
Oh no! I think, are you talking about the recent one?
Yes.
Yes.
It's the
music guy.
Yes.
Yeah, that country music guy. No.
Yeah, fancy like. Yeah.
Fancy like. Yeah, that's a dumb
which
song.
makes no sense.
No, fancy like no.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no
He's
sense.
just being all sorts of country, and the country people, Applebee's is fancy.
Yeah, and Olive Garden too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most average thing that possibly could be.
Great drink specials. We went there in college all the time.
I'll give you that.
Very fond memories of Applebee's.
Cocktail specials.
Okay, Garrison,
but the food is just crap.
Okay.
Maybe we do a food episode next week instead.
My gosh, can we please? Let me in on that.
Oh my gosh. No, you're gonna have to watch Groot if you want to come on the roundtable. It's not a cartoon.
I'll watch that. I gotta watch
Groot.
I think Groot will be way better than She-Hulk.
Groot is. Yeah. Well,
it'll be all right.
I'm watching Sandman, guys. Sandman.
Where can people find you on the internet, Garrison? We're getting out of here.
Sandman. Why do you guys cover like light and magic, this niche thing, Groot and Super Pets, and not Sandman?
Why don't we? Yeah, why don't we add another thing to our
let's add yet another show.
The random things anyway. Like it's
just to fill time. Just to fill time until She-Hulk starts. We had a few weeks that we had to fill, and we're just filling time. I mean, it is what it is.
You can find me on Twitter at GRyfun3, GRYFUN3. You can find me on Instagram there as well. You can find me on Letterboxd at GRyfun. You can find me on the Deucecast Discord. I pop in there occasionally, say some things. Sometimes some really dumb things.
I don't know. It takes the cake on here sometimes. I don't know. You've said some really dumb stuff on here before. So.
My gosh.
I've seen dumber. I've said dumber, but not on here. So.
But this is true. Roth, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on the internet at Roth from Wyoming on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. I am also in the Deucecast Discord, and I don't know if I've said that dumb of things. I fall for the fake things Michael puts in there.
Dude, you gotta look at Twitter ads. You gotta look at Twitter
like all the time. I can't remember what the last thing was, but
film thing. It was so close. They used an I instead of
no, they used like an L instead of the lowercase I. Yeah,
that's why they've been trying to get verified for like 2 years now, and Twitter keeps denying them.
They should get denied because they're charlatans.
You can listen to my podcast as well, the Good Day for a Movie podcast. Yeah. We just covered Heat.
Oh, the Heat episode.
Okay.
I'm so jealous of people that get to see things like that for the first time. I'm so, like,
it was awesome. I can't believe up until I don't know, this past year I'd never even heard of it.
Well, you got to watch Michael Mann's magnum opus, The Keep, now. So,
The Keep.
I sense a joke.
That is, look, it was early in his career. I mean, what do you want from the guy? He's not gonna. They're not all hits.
I looked up the book for The Keep today, and it said something like, turned into a terrible, incoherent movie in the Amazon, Amazon listing.
They're not all hits. Rhett, where can people find you on the internet?
I would prefer that you not.
Okay, he's there. But if you want to look for him, Dr. Earl's off the grid, which is apparently where Rhett wants to be.
I'm in the Discord.
You're in the Discord every once in a while. Yeah, you're in there every once in a while. I'm also in the Discord. That's probably where I'd rather be found as well. But we've got the Deucecast movie show coming out tomorrow with special guest Andy Lindemann talking about science movies.
Chewbubba.
Science.
Chewbubba.
Weird science.
Well, we tried to stay away from sci-fi. There was some sci-fi in there, but it was mostly like realistic science is what we were going for. Because he is
a very serious,
exciting chemistry movies.
Well, I played with it and made it fun for myself.
Tremors probably would have been on my list.
Real Genius would have been on my list.
That was mentioned. Okay, we're going to mention all of them now. So
no spoilers. We just
much to Rhett's lament, we'll be back next Tuesday talking about I Am Groot. But
it's more sad about She-Hulk.
It's five shorts. It's 20 minutes long. We'll spend an hour and a half on it. So this crew, if they want to watch Groot, we'll be back next week to talk about I Am Groot. And that way we can talk about Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit also. I mean, come on. It'll be fun.
I will do some digging for the Reddit trailer.
Dude, I have it. I'll just
send it. Send it to me then.
Just send it.
I have every single piece of leaked footage from SDCC.
Oh, I would take all of it.
Not all of it looks good. I'll just
I mean, some of it's like a dude with a cell phone, like at that angle.
He's in his lap.
Clearly. The Ant-Man trailer was all askew. Yes. I remember.
Yeah, that was not great.
Great trailer, but you can't see anything.
Thanks for the people that hung out in the chat. I don't know why you hung out in the chat, but
there was some good discussion underneath all of the craziness.
Yeah, there was. No, you're right. At the beginning, it did.
We missed Mr. Frosty.
Mr. Frosty, I don't know where he was. I mean, I missed him a lot. He would have really jazzed things up around here. So we'll be back next week, though. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Ryfin, Roth, Dr. Earl, Rhett, thank you guys for coming on. Always fun. We'll be back next week for Groot. I Am Groot.